Greetings, everyone. I'm Aaron, and this is the Beth Manuel Virtual Kollel. And today we're studying from Parashat Toldot out of Genesis 25, verse 19. And let's get started. I'll show you my screen. Here I am on the website Sfaria, and 25:19 starts right here. Here's how it goes. Ve'ele Toldot Yitzchak ben Avraham holid et Yitzchak. All right, not too much in this verse here, short verse. So it starts with ve'ele. It starts with this and. Now you'll notice something different if you've been watching these videos. This starts with something other than a verb. It's typical that it starts with the, but usually it's a word like this where it's via something. So what this is telling us is that now we're beginning a new narrative. We're not continuing on from the previous one. Even though and is beginning it, it's using this word ele. Ele is what they call the demonstrative pronoun, and it's plural. So in English, the way we say that is these. These. Ele means these. Okay, so the ele and these. Okay, what are we referring to? Toldot. Now this is a hard word to translate into English. Toldot, as you can see, it looks plural. It's got that ot ending, which is typical of a feminine plural, and that matches the these, which is also plural. What are toledot, and what would be one of them be called? One of them would be called a toledah. A toledah. But the thing is, you never find that word toledah in the Bible. It always occurs plural, kind of like pants or glasses. They're always plural. And so what are toledot? Well, you might, and I may have talked about this in the previous one, but it's related. Oh, you know what? I think what I talked about before was the word moledet, like a birthplace. This is actually related to that. It's related also to the word. It comes from the root meaning to give birth. So the root is yod, lamed, and dalet. And the yod is gone, but you can still see the lamed and the dalet. And so Toldot describes something that proceeds forth from someone, and it's plural. So the things that proceed forth from someone, and so some people mistakenly understand this to be an ancestry, like a family tree of someone. So you might think, well, we're going to. It says Ele Toldot Yitzchak. These are the Toldot of Yitzchak. We might think, oh, we're going to hear about Yitzchak's ancestry. No, not ancestry. More likely, it's going to be descendants, as you can see here, but not just the people, not just like a genealogical list of descendants. It's the stuff that they're known for. It's their legacy in the world. It's the impact that they made on the world. It's their story. It's all that stuff that comes out of a person. So which will naturally include their descendants, but don't think of it like a genealogy. Interestingly enough, if you're a student of the New Testament, you'll see that the book of Matthew begins by saying this is the, and it uses the Greek word. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is, but I know it's the Greek word that it equates to toldot. And so, and then it lists his ancestry, the ancestry of Yeshua, and so people think that word there is describing that genealogical list, not realizing that is actually the title that Matthew is giving to this entire story, entire gospel, and not just to that list. So it's the proceedings forth, the story of Yeshua. In this case, the Ele Toldot Yitzchak, the story of Yitzchak, of Isaac. Ben Avraham, and now we're identifying him as the son of Abraham. So these are the Toledot of Yitzchak, son of Abraham. Avraham. Now you can see this. It might be confusing to have the word Avraham in here twice. This, but you'll see this little wishbone shape right here is actually a major pause, like a stop. It's the end of a thought. So we're son of Abraham, and now we're going to start over with a new thought. Avraham holid et Yitzchak. And we talked about this word holid before. It means to be a father to someone. It also comes from the same root as Toldot. It comes from Yod Lamed Dalet, but you can see it's in the he-fil form, which is a causative, causing someone to be born. Okay, and we're causing Yitzchak to be born. So Avraham caused Yitzchak to be born, and so that's I like to translate as fathered. Right? It's not to give birth to somebody. That would be to become like a mother would. But holid is used when referring to a father. Okay, great. Let's continue on with the next verse. This is verse 20. Vayihi Yitzchak ben arba'im shana bekachto et Rivka bat Betuel ha'arami mipadan Aram. Ahot Lavan ha'arami lo leisha. Okay, so we start with Vayihi, and this is how you usually begin a story. This is a great way to begin a story. It comes from the root haya, to happen or to be, and it's in the imperfect form, and it's in the it's in the third person singular. So it'd be like yihye, it will be, but then it's in the conversive vav, so it makes it was. So we would translate this something like, and so it was, but we don't even really need to translate that in English, but it's just very common for that to show up in Hebrew. So it was. What was? Okay, Yitzchak ben arba'im shana. So Yitzchak is Isaac. Ben arba'im shana. Oh, this is fun. Okay, arba'im. We'll start with that. That's the number 40. Maybe you know the number 4 is arba. Arba is 4. And then if you, the way it works in Hebrew is the numbers, like 3, 4, 5. If you make them plural with im, it turns it into 30, 40, 50. So arba is 4. Arba'im, which sounds like 4s, is 40. Great. So arba, I'll come back to this. Arba'im shana. Shana is year, and we know from before that when you're referring to it, a large number of years or a large number of things, it's typically said in the singular. So arba'im shana is 40 years, right? And then ben arba'im shana. This is interesting. Literally, this is the word for son, child, son. So it looks like it says a son of 40 years. But in Hebrew, that's the way to say that someone is 40 years old. And that's also the case in modern Hebrew. You don't say, you literally will say that you are a son of such and such years or a daughter of such and such years. And that's how you refer to someone's age. Okay, so Yitzchak was 40 years old. Bekachto. Okay, this is an interesting word. That comes from the root lamed kuf chet. And the lamed drops off, as lamed sometimes does, and it becomes this word kachat. Now kachat means okay. Well, normally you'll actually find this with a lamed in the front, and the lamed in the front of kachat actually is, you'd think it would be the lamed of the root, but it's not. It's another lamed. So it's in the infinitive form is what we call that. So in English we'll say to take. In this case it's take, to take. So if I say I want to take, the phrase to take is infinitive. And in Hebrew you do that by using a special form. We have the lamed in front of it, la, in this case la kachat. Okay, so the la in front of la kachat is not the la of the root. It's that was removed, and then a new lamed was put in. The word the lamed that goes with the word to. So, but when that's removed, now we have bekachat. Bekachat is that. Instead, okay, so taking, it's like think of an infinitive like a verbal noun. It's like the act of doing something. That's what an infinitive is. So be, it means in or with or on, or in this case when, and then kachat is the act of taking. But now you can see I kept on saying kachat, and you're saying that's not what it says. It says kachto. Well, yeah, that's O on the end means his. It's possessive, because now you might think, well, this is a verb, and so that will be take him. No, this is actually not a verb. Like I said, it's a verbal noun. It's the act of taking, and so we put an O on it, and it becomes possessive. It's his act of taking, or kachto, his act of taking, and then b means in or when. So in his act of taking, in his taking, or in English, a normal way to say that would be when he took. But literally, grammatically, it's something more like in his act of taking. Okay. Taking what? Et Rivka. So you see an et here, which indicates the object of a verb. And like I said, this is actually a verbal noun. So it has some properties of a verb, and it has properties of a noun. In this case, it does have an object, and that's going to be indicated by this et. Whatever comes after is what got took. And that is Rivka. That's Rebecca, Rivka. So when he took Rivka, Bat Betuel, so Bat is daughter, daughter of, and then this is the name of her father, Betuel. So when he took Rivka Bat Betuel, and then we're going to describe him a little bit. Ha-Arami. So Arami means from a person from Aram. So Aram is a place, Mesopotamia, that area. Arami would be someone who is of that place, just like we might say America and American. You have the E on the end. Is Israel, Israeli. Aram, Arami. And so that is the way that you indicate that. You basically can take a noun and turn it into an adjective by adding E, and that's typically or frequently how it's done with nationalities. And now ha means the. All right, so since we're describing Betuel, and Betuel is definite, it's a specific person, then we need to use a specific adjective, and so we don't just say an Arami, we say the Arami, the Aramean. Okay, so she is the daughter, Rivka, daughter of Betuel, the Aramean, or maybe we just call him Betuel ha'Arami. Mi Padan Aram. Okay, Padan Aram is the name of a place, and to be honest, I haven't looked it up. I don't know what Padan means, and if it even has a word, a cognate in Hebrew. Let's see what Sfaria says. I know it's just the name of the place. Yeah, it doesn't have it. So Padan Aram is the name of this place where they lived, and mi in the beginning here is a prefix that just means from. Okay, so when he took Rebecca, the daughter of Betuel ha'Arami, from Padan Aram. Okay, so basically the verb being he was. So Yitzchak was 40 years old when he took Rivka, daughter of Betuel ha'Arami, from Padan Aram. Now we're going to describe her a little bit more. Achot Lavan ha'Arami lo leisha. So Achot is daughter. I mean, not daughter, is sister. Ach means brother. Achot means sister, which is kind of a surprise maybe, because it looks like it's plural. Achot looks like it's plural. You'd think it would be the plural of acha or something like that, but it's singular and it means sister. Sisters, plural, becomes achayot. Okay, so achot just means a sister, singular. And actually in modern Hebrew, this is also how you would say a nurse, like somebody in the nursing field in medicine. So achot is sister. So achot Lavan, so sister of a person named Lavan. His name actually means white, the color white. So she is the sister of Lavan Ha'arami, also called Ha'arami. Arami. Same thing, the Aramean. Okay, lo means to him. So lamed in the beginning is to or for someone. And then the o on the ends, that means him. All right, just like it meant he took at his taking, here it means to him. So we talk, who is him? It's talking about Yitzchak. So when he took Rivka to him or for himself, le isha. Okay, isha means woman or wife, and when it does mean woman, it's talking typically about a woman who is of adult age and is married. So even then, it still means something more like wife. But in this case, it's very clear. So he took her for him, for or as. In this case, probably as would be the best translation of this lamed preposition, as a wife, isha. Okay. Interesting. I think it's interesting that Arami is in there twice. I bet the commentators say something about that, maybe emphasizing the commentators will compare this word Arami with an anagram Ramai, which means scoundrel, liar, something like that. And so the commentators probably are noticing that Rivka was here among very liars of family members, and yet she was innocent and pure. And that's right. That's how she became the wife of Isaac. We didn't really get into the story about what comes next, but well, God willing, we'll get to that later in the week. In the meantime, have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you later.